that was 100% in your control. And it could lead to possible decisions, which I would honestly agree with. Move the game over to the Cleveland Browns Stadium, right? It's just up the street, 45 minutes out the way. You don't have to have it there every year just because it's connected and because you have this situation going on. I mean, it's cool for the high school kids to be able to play on the field that's the Hall of Fame field, but really it's their high school field. It's not kept up like an NFL field. If you're going to continue to play there, put some more money into it, keep it up like an NFL field, and you won't have these problems in the future. So now we got games actually going on. We had games on Thursday night. We had games on Friday night. We got games today. And we have a game on Sunday. Today's games, in case you guys, got the Game Pass or DirecTV package or, Verizon or one of these ways to actually watch games. Today's games, you got Seattle and Kansas City, Indianapolis and Buffalo, Dallas and L.A., and San Diego and Tennessee. I'm not sure if any of those games are on here locally or nationally. It'd be cool to watch the Dallas-LA game just to see the Rams play. But I got the Game Pass, so I'll probably check part of that out tonight anyway. So those are the games today. It's preseason. What can you say about preseason? You either like it or you don't. It doesn't count for much. It counts for some tape. It's padded tape for these guys to be able to show another team or for their coaches to look at on their current team so they can try and make their case why they should be on the 53. And you figure you invite 90 guys to camp, right? 90 guys come to camp, 53 make the final roster. I think 46 or something pretty much dress every week. You got a couple reserves. So what does preseason mean? Well, in the big picture, in the media picture, in the storyline picture, not much, right? They're like glorified scrimmages. They're not played like real football. Coaches are specifically doing down and distance. Let me try this play. Let's see how my guys react to this. Play calling. They're not play calling to try and win. They're trying to win. Every competitor tries to win. What I mean by that is they're not out there calling plays trying to with a purpose other than they want to see how it will work in a certain scenario. You see them in a 3rd and 9. They're not necessarily going to throw a deep ball because, hey, we need to get 9 yards. They're going to go, okay, let's see how my guys react to this screen pass on 3rd and 9. Let's see what happens if we do a draw here. Let's see what happens if we play action out of this, bootleg out. And, they're doing more scenario play calling than they are game plan play calling. And so you're going to see different things in the preseason. The year the Lions went 0-16, we went 4-0 in the preseason. And honestly, I was excited that season. We looked good in the preseason. We did. Our first teamers were, clicking on both the offense and defense. And that just goes to show it's preseason football. It's not being played at the same level, the same intensity, the same way a regular season playoff or a Super Bowl would be played. And that's what it means by it doesn't mean anything. Unless you're a scout, you're just a diehard football guy like me, it does mean something because it's football. I love watching football. I told you guys this the other day. I'll watch the third string guys. In fact, I'm going to talk about a third string guy here in a little bit when I go over the Lions game because I'm going to talk about the Broncos and Lions today because those are the two games I did watch. In other games, other weeks throughout the season, we'll talk about other games other than just the Broncos and the Lions for sure because I'll definitely have the opportunity to watch more throughout the season than I have the past couple nights. But, with the Game Pass, one of the cool parts about the Game Pass, if you want to check that out on NFL.com, is you have the option of watching the condensed game, and they pretty much take a whole game and take all the wait time out of it, and you can watch it in right around 30 minutes. So you'll get all the plays, you'll get all the highlights. You just don't have to watch them go back to the huddle, wait for the play to be called, come to the line of scrimmage, commercials. All of that is cut out. So you get the game really quick, and you'll be able to watch a lot more football that way. So scores so far that have come in the past few days of the games that we've had so far. Atlanta beat Washington 23-17. Philly beat up on Tampa Bay 17-9. Baltimore the other night beat Carolina, which, that game could have gone either way. Cam Newton had a big mess up in that game that kind of cost them early celebration. And what I liked about that game the most, honestly, wasn't that it was preseason football. I liked that the Baltimore Ravens and Michael Phelps have enough of a relationship that they can pretty much stop an NFL game to show him swim, because he's from Maryland. He's from the Baltimore area. He's gone to the games before. And they honored the Olympian that way. That was pretty cool to see. New England the other day, they beat New Orleans 34-22. Jets over Jacksonville 17-13. Locally, I'm sure you guys all watched this game Thursday night as the Broncos dominated the Chicago Bears. Chicago, I don't know what they're going to do this season. They looked pitiful. Miami over the Giants 27-10. My Lions last night won pride. They beat Pittsburgh 30-17. Minnesota over Cincinnati 17-16. Green Bay over Cleveland 17-11. There's a big highlight in that game. RG3 early in the game hit Terrell Pryor for about a 50-yard bomb. Terrell Pryor had an excellent diving catch. Looks like that project might come to fruition this year. We'll see. And Oakland over Arizona 31-10, but they had a player go out in that game who got hurt. So let's just go ahead and talk about it, Broncos fans. I'll hit your game first. I know that's more important to some of my listeners locally here. So we'll hit the Broncos fan stuff. Then I'll talk about my Lions game. And, all right, so the Broncos and the Bears. Broncos did everything in that game right. However, as I say that, at the same time, that was so sloppy. They were not on point. They were not together. Sure, the quarterbacks had pretty good numbers all around for all three quarterbacks. Sanchez had his dumb interception where he just didn't read the defense and threw it right to the guy. That's going to happen. That's Sanchez. Hello, that's what he's going to do. It was just a bad throw and a bad decision. He thought the guy was open. And, maybe if you had John Elway's arm or Brett Favre's arm or Aaron Rodgers' arm, or Stafford's arm, maybe you could have threaded the needle. Maybe. But on that play, he watched you the whole time. He came off his guy as you initially started to boot out to the right, dropped off his guy, fell right into the passing lane. You never saw him, and he picks you off. That's a typical Sanchez play. Now, outside of that, sure, he was, he had good numbers. I think he had 2 incompletions, around 90 yards. He had the touchdown, which, hey, in the NFL, you're going to take touchdowns like that. They don't take it away because the defense screwed up and left the guy wide open because he got caught looking in the backfield, sat down thinking the play was going to go the other way, and DT just kind of jogged past him. Now, you watch the live broadcast, it's, he blew past the defender. He didn't blow past him. The defender sat down thinking the play was going to do something else because he was staring into the backfield. DT just kind of jogs by, catches the ball, and goes into the end zone. He's not at a sprint. Good play nonetheless. Hey, you scored. Great. The block punt by Benny Fowler, that was a great play. Denver scored a touchdown on that play. The safety, great play. They did everything scoring-wise in that game except a defensive touchdown and a rushing touchdown. Devontae Booker had some moments. He looked okay. Paxton Lynch, he looked like a rookie quarterback. First preseason game, first live action really in the NFL. He looked like a rookie quarterback. He showed some glimpses. There was a couple of his passes that just took a nosedive at the end. I don't know if that's because of a high release, because he's 6'7", or what. But he definitely threw the ball down a couple times. You could see the athleticism, a couple of his bootlegs and runs where the play broke down and he took off. And he throws a good ball for the most part. But we're going to see the learning curve now. I think Kubiak's going to continue to let him play the second half next game. I think Simeon is going to start the next game because he's not making the bad decision. And when you don't make the bad decision and you're pretty much even, that's the guy I'm going to give my nod to. I agree with Alfred Williams and some of these other guys who are talking about Trevor Simeon's going to be the guy starting week 1 against Carolina. Unless he blows it next week when I think he gets the start. And then he would get the start the following week in the third game because that's the big warm-up game. Unless he really just blows it or start falling apart in practice, I think Trevor Simeon's going to win this job. Sanchez is going to continue to make the mistakes. And all you've heard from all the Broncos insiders and on the local radio is how Simeon's outperforming him in practice, and Sanchez continues to throw pick sixes in practice. I told you guys months ago I did not see Mark Sanchez being the starting quarterback week 1, and I still don't. I don't have faith in him as being a good quarterback. He's a good clipboard guy. In fact, he's a good rah-rah guy, similar to Tim Tebow. He'll get all the guys together, have them all doing some stuff, and, maybe he'll make a good coach someday. He seems like he likes to grab guys and tell them what to do. But I don't see him being the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos against Carolina. Which, oh, excuse me. Trevor Simeon, if he gets the job, I don't know how long of his leash will be or how long he'll keep it. If Paxton Lynch is on the trajectory that, is being alluded to by John Elway and others, maybe we see a Paxton Lynch a week 5 or a week 6, we talked about earlier. But then again, maybe Trevor Simeon is just that quiet kind of leader, similar to what you see with an Eli Manning, who's just going to go out there, play, get stuff done, and go about his business. Now, some of you might go, "Oh, Eli Manning, that's not a comparison I want to hear. He throws interceptions. He's not the leader." No, he is. He's got 2 Super Bowl rings. He was the leader of the offense, both of those Super Bowl runs. The best player they had. He just goes about it quietly. Carson Palmer's the same way. Aaron Rodgers is the same way. There's a lot of these guys. Adrian Peterson, Barry Sanders, Terrell Davis. Quiet leaders who just go about their business. And Ndamukong Suh. You guys might not like him. You might go, "Oh, he's dirty." No, he's a beast. It's a man's game. Had he played in the 90s and the 80s and any time before now, half the stuff you guys want to complain about or be mad about or let ESPN tell you should be mad about wouldn't even have been flagged. It would have just been football. So different rules, now all of a sudden he's a bad guy. Well, a different era, he just would have been a beast. And he is a beast. Denver's biggest beast, they didn't play on defense. Denver's defense looked great, but that's where really, outside of the offensive line, that they looked the most sloppy, was on defense. Sure, they made some plays. They're deep. But without their starters, without their big names, without Devon Miller, without DeMarcus Ware, without Aqib Talib, without Chris Harris, listen to the names I just said, Broncos fans. The bounty of wealth you guys have on the defensive side of the ball is unbelievable. Shane Ray had a pretty good game. He had some moments where it was a little okay, but he had a pretty good game. Shaq Barrett didn't show up much, but, we don't know what the game plan was. And to